Welcome back to the deep dive. We dig into the sources so you get the essential knowledge fast. Today, we're really getting into a classic, Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World. Well, excerpts from it.
Right. And it's definitely more than just a how to sell guide. The sources frame it, as this blend of a story with moral, spiritual, even ethical guidance woven in.
Absolutely.
Our mission here is to figure out why it claims every one of us is a salesman, selling ideas ourselves, not just goods, and really unpack the story of Hafid, the central character who mastered these ancient principles.
And Hafid's story is pretty compelling. I mean, here's a guy who reaches the absolute pinnacle of success, wealth-wise.
Just incredible wealth.
And then just decides, okay, time to give it all away. We kind of have to graft how huge his success was before we get why walking away is such a big deal.
It's staggering, honestly. The story kicks off with Hafid calling in his main accountant, Erasmus.
His chief bookkeeper, yeah.
Right, Erasmus.
Mhm.
And Erasmus is still buzzing because they just had their best year ever profit-wise.
Off the charts, yeah. And the numbers Erasmus gives them are just, wow. Hafid's treasury, over 7 million gold talents.
7 million. Just sitting there.
And that's not even counting inventory, the shops, all that. They figure minimum another 3 million talents there. So 10 million gold talents under one guy's control.
It's hard to even imagine. But then Hafid drops the bombshell. He's not planning the next big move.
Oh.
He tells Erasmus, sell everything. Now.
Erasmus must have been floored.
Totally. But Hafid's reason is, well, simple and profound. He's old, doesn't need much, and he mostly just wants to give the wealth away to the poor. He says he wants to rejoin Lisha, his wife who passed away. His work's done, basically.
He doesn't just dump it all, though. He's thoughtful about it. He tells Erasmus, okay, turn over every shop to his manager.
Yeah, and gives them a bonus, too, right?
Exactly. 5,000 gold talents each for being loyal. And Erasmus himself gets 50,000 talents straight up, plus the promise of the palace and warehouse later. It's generosity, but structured.
See, the money wasn't the real treasure, What Erasmus really wanted, what we want to know, is how Hafid did it. The secret sauce.
And Hafid promises to tell him, but only after Erasmus liquidates everything. He says it's secret he only ever shared with Lisha for 30 years, locked away in a chest. That's the real prize.
So yeah, to get that secret, we got to rewind. Go back to Hafid's youth.
Right. He starts out as a camel boy, working for this big shot merchant, Pathros.
And he's ambitious. He doesn't just want a job. He tells Pathros he wants to be a salesman, to become even greater than Pathros himself.
He calls Pathros the wealthiest man and the greatest salesman in all the world. High aims.
And this immediately brings up that core tension, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hafid's basically arguing, look, you need money to be happy, secure, to take care of people. He even says poverty is maybe okay for a monk, but for him, it shows a lack of ability or ambition.
It sounds pretty modern, that view. Very practical.
But Pathros pushes back gently. He says, true wealth is of the heart, not of the purse, which, sets up the whole test.
Ah, yes, the test.
Pathros says, okay, I'll give you a shot. But it's clearly a character test, not just a sales task. He gives Hafid one item, a single red robe.
Not just any robe, though. It's described as seamless, really high quality, made by the Tola Guild, marked with a circle and a star. Valuable.
Very valuable. And the instructions are, go sell this in Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, which the sources explicitly say is poor, unprosperous, a place other sellers just avoided.
Pathros definitely knew what he was doing, setting him up to fail, in a commercial sense.
And Hafid does fail. Tries for 4 days, nothing. He can't sell this expensive robe in a poor town.
He's defeated, goes back to a cave near the inn. And this is the moment, the turning point. He finds this young couple inside, with a tiny baby, freezing.
Right. He failed the money task, but then he sees this need. He thinks about Lisha, his own love.
And he uses that expensive robe, the one thing he was supposed to sell, to wrap the baby and keep it warm.
He chose compassion over the commission, basically.
Exactly. He failed the job, but passed the real test.
So when he gets back, Pathros is already waiting outside his tent. He asks Hafid straight up, did you come right from Bethlehem?
And then he points up to this bright star that seemed to follow Hafid back. Pathros says he hadn't seen it like that since it first appeared over Bethlehem hours before. He instantly gets it. He connects the star to the robe, the selfless act.
Yeah, Hafid starts to apologize for not selling the robe, but Pathros just cuts him off. Sleep in peace, he says, for you have not failed.
He knew. He'd been waiting for that sign, that specific sign. Then he brings out the chest, the secret. 10 leather scrolls inside.
Legendary scrolls.
Pathros explains they were given to him years ago by someone he'd rescued. They hold all the secrets, the principles for succeeding in sales, but really, in life. Pathros used them, became great, but he was told he couldn't pass them on until this sign appeared, marking the chosen one.
And Hafid was it, the second guy to get them.
But getting them came with some really strict rules. Rules that shaped Hafid's entire life for the next 30-plus years.
What were they?
3 big ones. First, Hafid had to swear he'd follow the reading method laid out in the very first scroll, Scroll 1.
Okay, specific instructions on how to learn.
Second, and this is huge, he had to give away half of everything he earned to people less fortunate, constantly. Pathros says no deviation allowed.
Half. That's a serious commitment. Wow.
Right. And third, he could never, ever share the scrolls or what was in them with anyone. Not until the sign, that star, appeared to him decades later.
So the wisdom was locked down just for him for a long time.
Exactly. Which brings us to how you actually use these scrolls. Scroll A isn't about selling, it's the how-to for learning the others.
The operating manual.
Pretty much. You don't just read them, you have to take each scroll one at a time and read it for 30 days straight.
30 days per scroll. Wow.
Yeah, and in a specific way. Read it silently when you wake up. Read it silently again midday. And then at the end of the day, read it out loud.
Out loud. Why that? And why 30 days? That's
Extra.
nearly a year of just reading.
It's about drilling it in deep. The text says the words need to bypass your conscious thought and sort of seep into your active mind, your subconscious.
Through sheer repetition.
Exactly. The idea is it stops being something you remember to do and becomes an ingrained habit, part of who you are. Success isn't about tricks, it's about building this unbreakable character, these automatic good habits.
Okay, that makes sense. Building the foundation first. So let's talk about those habits. What are these scrolls actually teaching? This is the core stuff that made Hafid.
Right. Scroll I kicks it off, forming good habits. The mantra is, today I begin a new life. It basically says the only real difference between success and failure is your habits. Bad habits are like an open door to failure. Good habits are the key.
Simple but powerful. Then scroll 3 jumps right into persistence. I will persist until I succeed. Why so early on? Why is just grinding it out so fundamental?
Because failure is expected. The book assumes you're going to fail. A lot. It tells you to think of yourself as a lion, don't hang out with the sheep of resignation. Obstacles aren't enemies, they're friends and helpers.
Okay, but how does that help when you're just getting rejected over and over?
This is where the ancient law of averages comes in. It's a key idea.
Explain that. Seems a bit like statistics class.
Kind of, but applied to mindset. It suggests every no you get actually increases your odds for the next yes. You're working through the probabilities. If, say, 1 out of 10 people buys, then every time you hear no, you should actually be encouraged. You're one step closer to the guaranteed yes.
Huh. So failure isn't just failure, it's progress towards the average. That's a different way to look at it.
Totally reframes rejection, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then you hit scroll 2 and it throws you a curveball. The main weapon, love. I will greet this day with love in my heart.
Love in sales. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does. But the scroll argues love is the ultimate tool. It opens hearts, shields you from negativity and discouragement. The goal stated is literally to boost your sales 100 times just through love.
100-fold. Just with love. How does it mean, like, being nice?
It's deeper. It even says you should address people, even if it's just silently in your head, with, I love you.
Wait, okay. Saying I love you silently to increase sales, isn't that just, a manipulation tactic, wearing a love costume? How is that genuine?
That's the critical point the text seems to make. It's about the practice. By deliberately, habitually acting with love, trying to understand, serve, refusing to let negativity stick, you actually start to feel it. The discipline shapes the emotion. It implies that this cultivated state of mind leads to real connection, which is what actually drives results, much more than any slick pitch.
So the action shapes the feeling, which then drives the outcome. Okay, that's interesting. Let's shift to the more action-oriented scrolls. Scroll V, mastering time. I will live this day as if it is my last.
Yeah, this one's about intensity, urgency. It says throw good after bad. Basically, don't waste a second feeling sorry about yesterday's mess-ups. Get back to it. Procrastination is labeled the killer of time.
Treat today like it's all you have.
Exactly. Make it count. Make it your best day, which links right into Scroll IX, the primacy of action. I will act now.
Then no ambiguity there.
None. Dreams, plans, ideas. They're totally worthless without doing something. Action is the food and drink for success.
And why don't we act?
Fear, according to the scroll. Procrastination comes from fear. The killer line is, Tomorrow is the day when the failure will succeed, meaning successful people act now, today.
Okay, strong message. Now, scroll 4 seemed a bit weird to me. It's about uniqueness and goals. I am nature's greatest miracle. Okay, be unique, multiply your value. But then it says, divorce your work life from your home life. Market thoughts in the market, home thoughts at home. Why that split?
It's about focus, mental clarity, protecting those habits. If you're worrying about sales quotas at dinner, you ruin your rest. If you're worrying about family stuff during a pitch, you dilute your effectiveness. It's like emotional compartmentalization to ensure peak performance in each zone.
Ah, okay. Protecting the mindset for each environment.
And it also slips in that idea that problems, even heartaches, are really great opportunities in disguise. They force growth.
Right. And the last one, scroll X, circles back, prayer for guidance.
Yeah, but crucially, it says don't pray for stuff, no goal, no orders, no fame. Pray only for guidance, for the ability to handle the opportunities you get.
So pray for character, essentially.
Exactly. Humility, courage, compassion, patience, build those, the scrolls imply, and the results, the goal will naturally follow.
So Hafid lives this. 30 years, builds this empire using these scrolls, gives away half his earnings the whole time. Then he dismantles the empire and waits. For almost 3 years, just waiting for the sign, holding on to the secret.
Patiently. Until one day, this stranger shows up in Damascus. Looks kind of rough. Slight limp, poorly dressed. Erasmus, Hafid's bookkeeper, is naturally a bit wary.
Who is this guy?
He introduces himself as Saul. Says he's from Tarsus, a Roman citizen, a Pharisee, tent maker, studied under a famous rabbi, Gamaliel, sometimes called Paul.
Paul. Okay.
The sign comes when Paul tells his story, how he used to hunt down followers of this teacher, Jesus. But on the road to Damascus, bam, blinded by a light, heard a voice, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? I am Jesus.
The conversion story.
Right. And Hafid hears this, the light, the voice, the transformation, and he knows instantly, this is it, the sign. Search is over.
Wow. So that's the signal Pathros told him about.
Seems so. And this is the climax.
Yeah.
Hafid gives the chest, the scrolls, to Paul. And here's the key difference. Paul is the third recipient. The rules change. Hafid was bound to secrecy. Paul is now allowed to share the message with the world if he so desires.
The wisdom is finally unlocked for everyone.
Exactly. So if we zoom out, what's the big takeaway here for you, the listener? The sources really hammer home that Hafid's incredible success wasn't luck or timing or some secret product. It was all internal.
Discipline.
Total discipline. Mastering himself through these principles. The real secret to his wealth was just the relentless, habitual practice of persistence, love, action, focus, all that stuff in the scrolls.
It really is about self-mastery, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
These aren't really sales tactics in the modern sense. They're timeless character traits. Things that work, whether you're selling widgets or just trying to, live a better life. You got to conquer yourself first.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a final thought for you to maybe wrestle with. Pathros put a steep price on this wisdom for Hafid.
Oh.
Give away half your money forever. But Paul, he gets the green light to share it freely, globally. So think about it. If you use these principles today, and they really work to multiply your own value, what price, what kind of personal commitment or sacrifice would you think is fair to pay to see that kind of wisdom spread effectively in our world? What's it worth?